Yeah, students, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, so today we are going to discuss again optical sources. Okay, so in the last class we have seen the brief introduction about the optical sources and types of LEDs and laser diode. So basically, in optical communication, we have different optical sources and optical detectors also. So these optical sources mostly we are used in different applications like in the area of medical, right? And automotive and analytical techniques also. So basically in optical communication, we will use these optical sources. So these optical sources will be tungsten, deuterium, mercury, and holocathode lamps. Okay, but in optical communication, the optical sources are special, especially we are using in optical fiber optic communication system. They are light emitting diodes and laser diodes. So these light emitting diodes are also two different types: surface LED, edge emitting LED. Okay, and also a different a type of heterojunction LED and homojunction LED. Now let us see the figures for that source of optical sources as light emitting diode and edge emitting diode. Okay, so basically optical source, the optical source requirement for the performance in the optical fiber. So basically we will see the physical dimensions which are suitable to the optical fiber and a narrow radiation pattern. So that is bandwidth is important. Linearity, output light power, which is proportional to the driving current. And these optical sources are ability to be directly modulated by varying the driving current. These sources are also give the fast response time and which are advocate output power into the power, a fiber. Okay, so a nano spectral bandwidth or nano spectral width is important. Stability and efficiency is also one of the important factor. Driving circuit issues are also considered. Reliability and cost. Based on these factors, based on this performance, we are going to consider this type of optical sources. So those optical source will be LED, and in this LED, the basic light emitting diode operation will be taking from the PN junction diode, which is acts as a active or recombination region. So when the PN junction is for forward biased and electron and hole pair recombination either radiatively emitting the photons or non-radiatively emit the heat. So this is the simple operation behind this light emitting diode. So whereas in the last class we have seen that direct band gap and indirect band gap. Based on the direct and indirect band gap, we will use the different type of constructed material in the light emitting diode. So the constructed material will be gallium arsenide phosphate, gallium arsenide, indium sulfate materials will also be used in the light emitting diode. Here the junctions will be considered here. Holes and electrons will be placing P channel and N channel. So whenever it is forward bias, then which can emit the E is equals to H mu. So based on the indirect band gap or direct band gap, we can emit the energy. That emitted energy will be taken from the LED. So that emission is based on that, which are classified into different types: surface emitting LED, edge emitting LED, and a superluminescent LED. Okay. So to confining and guiding the light within the device will be uh, by both type of LED, surface emitting LED or ELED, edge emitting LED, with the combination of insulating material and the junctions will be used here. So based on that, which can guide the current flow to a small active region and guide the light produced out of the device into easy position for coupling to the fiber itself. So based on this confining and guiding of the light within the LED, we will take the construction. So the first one is surface emitting LED. Now you can see layer by layer that surfacing emitting LED will be constructed like this. At the end, we will take the contacts. So these are the ohmic contacts. Okay, so those ohmic contacts will also be connected with that, right? Then uh, power will be coupled into the fiber, which is depends on the many factors: distance, alignment between the emission area and fiber, and also emission pattern, interfacing medium. So to produce the more power and poor radiance, we can use this surface LED also, SLED, right? So this surface LED, surface emitting LED, from the surface light will be emitted. Here heat sink, metallization, isolation with SiO2 material, active region. Here the double heterojunction layers will be placed here, and the well shape will be created here. And finally that fiber is connected across that. So from the surface of the metallization part, we will take the output that emitted light will be circularly etched well. So that emitted light will be considered as surface LED. From that, we can take the different factors which is emit the known different bars which are produces from the surface LED. In this SLED, the size of the uh, primary active regions are very limited to small circular area, which is 20 microns to 50 microns of diameter. So the primary active region is also below the uh, surface of the semiconductor substrate, which are perpendicular to the axis of the to the perpendicular to the axis of the fiber. Okay, a well is created on the substrate, and which can allow the directional coupling of the emitting light to the optical fiber, and which are etched like a well, and through the uh, part of the well that emitted light will be considered. So that is surface emitting LED. While coming to the edge emitting diode, so here this is a construction of edge emitting diode. From the edge itself, that light emission will be produced. Okay, in the double heterojunction layer only we will consider. In surface LED also like this, but from the surface itself, that output will be produces. So that emitted light, if it is emitted light from the surface, that is called as a SLED. If the emission is from the edge, that is called as a edge LED. So this edge LED construction is also same as SLED, surface LED, but the emission is from the edge of the LED itself. Okay. Okay. Now, if the edge emitting diode is considered, it is considered at a heterojunction part. The output beam is like a Lambert, which is in the plane of PN junction. Okay, and highly directional, which are perpendicular to the PN junction material. So these edge LED have a advantage of transparent guiding layer switch, and a very thin active layer. So that thickness of this active layer is 50 to 100 nanometers. 50 to 100 nanometers. And this reduces the self-absorption and narrows the beam divergence. So light is emitted at one end face only. So they couple more power to a small numerical aperture power. Higher data rates, that is 100 Mbps butter modulations will be considered here. Edge LED will provide the narrow line width than the narrow line width than the surface LED, and this edge LED which also used for the high radiance purpose. Okay, then another source of optical source is injection laser diode. Another optical source is injection laser diode. So basically the optical sources are different type. The first one is LED. In this LED we have different types: surface LED, okay, edge LED, homogeneous LED, and heterojunction LED. So those differences already we have seen. So today in this class we have seen the difference between surface LED and edge LED. So those things we can compare, and where from that output will be produced, what type of construction will be used here, and in active region the double heterojunction will be taking place. Okay, so that is the information about the edge LED and surface LED. Now we will see injection laser diode. So laser means light amplified stimulated emission of ray. So that emission of radiation light from the laser will be by the both two different processes as stimulated emission or spontaneous emission. We will see the types of laser. The concept will be entirely different. We will see deeply in the lasers types. Okay, first we will see injection laser diode, which is also one of the optical source. Now the construction of injection laser diode is also similar to the LED, except that the ends are highly polished. Here if you can see, these ends are highly polished. Okay, except that remaining construction will also be same like injection laser diode, same like LED only. So the minor like and troop, the photons in the active region, and as they reflect back and which can stimulate with the free electrons to recombine with holes at higher state, and then which can produce a normal energy level. So such type of a process is called as a lasing. So it will be called as injection laser diode. So that will be constructed as LED, except polished ends, the polished edges of the LED, which is called as a injection laser type of diode. Now we will see the principle and operation of injection laser diode. It is also same as LED, but as the current passes through the forward bias in junction diode, the light is emitted. The light is emitted by the spontaneous emission at a particular frequency, which can be determined by the energy gap of the semiconductor material. Energy gap of the semiconductor material. When a particularly some current level is reached, when a particular current level is reached, the number of minority carriers and the photons produced on either side of the injection reaches to the certain level where that begins to collide with each other and with already excited with minority carriers. So this causes whenever the current which is reaches to the certain level and the number of minority carriers of photons and which are collide with each other as a electron and hole pair. So due to this excited minority carriers, due to this an increase in the ionization energy level and makes the carrier unstable. Okay, that minority carriers will be unstable due to the ionization energy, and this process will produce the two photons. These two photons are created and at a one stimulated light, and the large forward current can be provided by the many carriers are required for the many carriers required. So based on that injection laser diodes are working. So minority carriers are collide with the electrons and hole pair combination. By that emitted radiation of light will be produced. While taking this, that lasing concept will be applied. So this is called as a injection laser diode. Now we will see the advantage of injection laser diode. Okay, so because of injection laser diode, because of ILEDs have more direct radiation pattern, it is easy to couple their light into the optical fiber. So this reduces the coupling losses and allow the small fibers to be used. And injection laser diodes are also provide a higher drive power, and it is to be used for the systems that operate at our longer distance only. And these ILDs, injection laser diodes, can be used at a higher bit rate than the LED. Okay, injection LEDs generate the monochromatic light, which reduces the chromatic or wavelength dispersion. Basically, it is the one of the advantage. Injection laser diodes are reduce dispersion or chromatic dispersion, wavelength dispersion or chromatic dispersion, and also which can generate the wavelength monochromatic lights. Okay, while coming to the disadvantages, injection laser diodes, are typically on the order of 10 times more than the expensive than the LED. These are more expensive than LED, and these ILDs are more temperature dependent than the LED. And these injection laser diodes are also operated at high power. They typically have a much short lifetime than the LED. So these are the disadvantages and advantages of ILD, injection laser diodes. So basically we have two types of categories in the optical sources in the optical communication system, while the optical fibers are communicated from one place to another place. So those optical sources are classified into two types as adjuncting LED and injection laser diode. LEDs are also again classified into different types as adjuncting LED, surface emitting LED, homojunction LED, and heterojunction LED. Sometimes the same junctions will all be considered. Sometimes double heterojunction diodes are also considered. By that, we can compare the operation with surface emitting LED and edge emitting LED. Okay, another one is injection laser diode. Whereas in injection laser diode, we have a special construction which is produce the lasing action. So light amplification stimulated emission of ray. That laser will be produced by the certain process in the active region. By taking this, we can take the advantage. That main advantage is more expensive than the it is more easily we can operate, and the coupling losses are also low, and which can also be allow the small fibers to be used. And injection lasers are also provide the high driver power, and it is to be used for the system that can operate as over distances also. And the disadvantage of injection laser diode is it is available up to 10 times more than the expensive than the LED. So that is one of the drawback while compare with LED as injection laser diode, and it is also temperature dependent compare with LED. And injection laser diodes are operated at high power, and it is also short lifetime than the LED. Okay, is it clear? Friends, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yesterday also I have given a brief description about these optical sources, but these optical sources are constructed in a different way. So today we have seen with the edge emitting LED, surface emitting LED, and injection laser diode, those constructional details we have seen and compared with each other. And in the last class we have compared the SLED and ELED also. So carefully you have to observe that, and you have to compare each and every point for the edge emitting LED, surface emitting LED, and injection laser diode also. Okay, so these things you have to identify. Then we will go for the optical detectors. So for the effective communication of optical fiber concept, we have two types of things. That is one thing is optical sources, another one is optical detectors. So the basic important optical sources are two types: LEDs and ILDs. LED, SLED, ELED, HLED, homojunction, DHLED, double heterojunction LED. Okay, as ILD means injection laser diode. That those are the optical sources. Now coming to the detectors. So those detectors are also different types as photo detectors we can use. So those especially that for photo detectors will be pin diode and avalanche photodiode. Pin diode and avalanche photodiode. So the photo detectors are also working with the principle of optical absorption. The main requirement of the light detector or photo detector is it's a very fast response. So based on this fast response, these optical photo detectors are utilized in optical communication as a detector. So these fiber optic communication system purpose is to suit the different type of optical detectors also. So those detectors are also different types. all photo detectors and pin detector, pin type detector. Okay, P type intrinsic detector, that is pin type detector or pin diode, avalanche photodiode. Okay, APD, pin diode and APD. So the performance parameters of the photodetectors are also different parameters are needed here while the optical communication is considered as responsivity of the detector, quantum efficiency, and response time and dark current. So those parameters we need to analyze. Okay. Now, if you see the if you see uh, the parameter, one of the parameter is cutoff wavelength at a particular semiconductor, which can absorb the photon energy over a limited wavelength range. The highest wavelength is to be known as cutoff wavelength. So those cutoff wavelengths are determined by the band gap energy of the material. So that cutoff wavelength lambda c is equals to hc by Ez. H is the Planck's constant, c is the velocity, radiation light velocity. So that is equals to 1.24 by Ez. Okay, where Ez is the injection voltage. Ez is electrons in volts, sorry, and lambda c is cutoff wavelength in micrometer, and typical value of lambda c for silicon is 1.06 micrometers, for germanium 1.6, for silicon 1.06 micrometers. Okay, then quantum efficiency. So this quantum efficiency is defined as the number of electron hole carrier pairs generated per incident photon of energy, that is h mu. So simply we can define with simply we can define the quantum efficiency is defined as the number of electron hole pair generated per incident photon of energy h mu. So that quantum efficiency mu is equals to number of electron hole pair generated with the ratio of number of incident photons. So that quantum efficiency mu is equals to IP by Q with the ratio of P in by H mu. Okay, you can take that quantum efficiency mu is equals to IP by Q with the ratio of P in by H mu, and IP is the average photon current. IP is the average photon current, and P in is the average optical power. P in is the average optical power incident on photodetector, and the absorption coefficient of the material determines the quantum efficiency. This quantum efficiency mu is less than 1, as the entire photons incident will not be generated, and EH electron and hole pairs. Okay, so it is normally expressed in the percentage, right? So these things we are going to consider for the quantum efficiency also. Okay, now another parameter we need to analyze in optical detector as a detector responsivity. Another parameter is detector responsivity. So basically we have to consider the efficiency, quantum efficiency. Now we have to take the detector responsivity. So this responsivity of the photodetector is the ratio of current output in amperes to the instant optical power in watts. So that responsivity R is equals to current output IP by incident optical power P in. So this responsivity, if you can derive in terms of efficiency, that mu is equals to IP minus Q by P in minus H mu. So that is equals to IP by Q into H mu by P in. So based on that, IP by P in is equals to mu Q by H mu. So this responsivity, we can derive that R is equals to mu Q by H mu, that is equals to mu Q square H mu. The responsivity will give the transfer characteristics of the detector. That means the photo detector for unit incident optical power, we can derive this. Okay, and the silicon pin diode, that output will be 900 to 0.65 amperes per watts. For germanium pin diode, 1.3 micrometers to the 0.45 amperes per watt. In indium gallium arsenide pin diode, 1.3 micrometers to the 0.9 amperes per watt. So you can simplify based on this. We can simplify the efficiency. That efficiency will be 90%. So as the intensity of optical signal at the receiver is very low, the detector has to meet high performance specifications. So therefore, in all the optical detectors, we need optical detectors, we need to analyze the different type of parameters like cutoff frequency, cutoff wavelength, quantum efficiency, and detector responsivity. So one of the important considerable optical detector is a pin diode and avalanche photodiode. Okay, for before we discuss this discussion of this pin diode construction and all, you need to verify the diode characteristics. The diode current equation, I is equals to ID plus IE into e power V cube by mu HKT minus 1, where ID is the dark current, that is current that flows when the no signal is present. IS is the photo current, which is generated current due to the instant optical signal. Okay, so that is fundamentals of optical detectors. So basically, in optical communication system, there are two different devices are playing an important role. So that is optical sources and optical detector. Okay, optical sources and optical detectors. Students, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, PPT is visible now. PPT is also visible. Is it visible or not?
Pin photodiode thing is visible, sir.
Pin photodiode, now only we will start. And earlier we have seen that efficiency and cutoff wavelength, quantum efficiency derive equations are visible or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you clearly observe that before going to discuss about all the pin diode and all the avalanche photodiodes, we need to verify the parameters very importantly. Those parameters are cutoff frequency, cutoff wavelength, quantum efficiency, and responsivity. So if you have an idea about these all the parameters, then everything in pin diode and avalanche diode, it will be important. Okay, the fundamental detectors of optical communication is pin diode and avalanche photodiode. Okay, but these pin diode and avalanche photodiodes are also depends on the diode, p-n junction diode operation only. Okay, now if you see pin diode, pin photodiode, here is it a p-n junction diode? Is it a p-n junction diode? Is it visible? Is it visible or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Additionally, what is to be modified here? Intrinsic layer is added in the junction, right? intrinsic layer is added in the junction. In PN junction, at a junction material, intrinsic layer is added. Is it absorbed? Is it right or wrong? Yes. At the middle PN junction, middle of the PN junction, intrinsic layer is added. That is the difference between PN junction diode and PIN diode. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here, whenever at the middle part, that radiant energy is applied here, so some sort of modifications will be absorbed, and then the electron and hole pair recombination will be absorbed from the P channel and N channel. That means if the diode will be in the forward bias or reverse bias, majority carriers and minority carriers are compared with each others. But in PN PIN diode, which consists of intrinsic semiconductor, which is sandwiched between the two heavily doped p-type and n-type semiconductor. Okay, sufficient reverse voltage is applied to keep the intrinsic region, which is free from carrier. Okay, and its resistance is very high. Okay, most of the diode voltage appears across it. Most of diode voltage appears across it, and the electrical forces are strong. Electrical forces are strong within these regions, and the incident photons are give up their energy, and these all the electrons are excited from valence band to the conduction band. Okay, and free electron hole pairs are regenerated. So these are called as photocarriers. So these photocarriers are collected across the reverse biased junction. Finally, which is rise the current in external circuit, that is called as a photocurrent. So in the absence of light, for example, when you apply the light, electron and hole pair will be generated, and the carrier current will be collected at the photocarriers are collected across the reverse bias only. Okay, if it is absence of light, here whenever there is no light, the PN diode behave like electrically just like an ordinary rectifier diode only. So in rectifier diode, if it is a forward bias, they conduct a large amount of current will be formed, and the PIN detector can be operated in two modes. So the first mode, photovoltaic and photoconductive. In photovoltaic mode, in no bias is applied to the detector. In this case, which can detect very slow and output approximately logarithmic to the light input level. Okay, in photoconductive mode, this detector will be in reverse bias. Okay, that output in this case, a current flowing through it is linear with the input light power. Okay, this intrinsic region which can improve the sensitivity of the device, which does not provide any internal gain, and the combination will be different. So those things are considered from that photovoltaic and photo detector type variations we are going to observe there. Okay, whenever the depletion layer of photocurrent in reverse bias, if you can imagine, when the incident lights are applied here in the P region, already it is occupied with the electrons, and N region it is occupied with the holes. Okay, due to the diffusion. So when the reverse bias is applied there, the total current density J total is equals to J drift plus J diffusion, whereas drift current density and diffusion current density. So while considering this, drain current IDR is equals to IP by A, and drift current density Q is equals to pi naught into 1 minus e power minus alpha into W, where A is the absorbed photodiode area, phi naught is incident photon flux per unit, and pi 1 is diffusion current density. And finally, you can derive this equation. Diffusion current will be I diff is equals to Q into pi naught alpha SLP by 1 plus alpha SLP into e power minus of alpha SW plus Q into P naught dP by LP. Okay, so those things we are going to take this. When the response time, if you can take the transit time of photocarriers within the depletion region, diffusion time of photo carriers outside the depletion region, and RC time constant diode of external circuit. You can take this transit time TD is equals to W by VD. So these are the characteristics of PIN diode. Okay, so finally, like a filter, it will be acting as a PIN diode. So here combination input resistance of load and amplifier, and CT will be sum of the photodiode and amplifier we can take. Okay, so you can observe the operation of the PIN diode. In this, we can take the two conditions, photovoltaic and photoconductive type of cell, where before going to start with the PIN diode, whereas we can take the different factors like cutoff wavelength, responsivity, and efficiency. Cutoff wavelength, responsivity, and efficiency. Here we are going to analyze the PN diode. That PN diode will have the current diode equation. That current diode equation I is equals to ID plus IE, ID plus IS, dark current plus photo generated current is multiplied with e power VQ by mu KT minus 1. So based on this current variations in the diode, we are going to have the PIN diode also. So this PIN diode, which is constructed from the origin of PN junction diode, additionally we will add with the intrinsic layer. Okay, so those intrinsic layer, while adding the intrinsic layer, when the diode will be in a forward bias or reverse bias, electron hole pair recombination will be changed in forward bias or reverse bias. By taking the forward bias and reverse bias, we can take the two different operations in the depletion layer of photocurrent we can analyze. So that current density is also based on the diffusion and drift. So the total current density is in the terms of drift current density or diffusion current density. So for that, we have to take this JDR and current diffusion equations we have derived here in PIN diode, and the response time is also important. So those response time and transit time is also important. That TD is equals to W by VD. So based on these all the parameters, this PIN diodes are especially utilized in optical communication system. Okay, then we will continue the class in tomorrow's class with avalanche photodiode, as well as different type of modulators, electro-optic modulators, how the laser light will be produced, and how the light electro-optic modulators are working. Okay, then let us see how the today's class will be covered. So the today's class is covered with the different factors or different items. There is optical sources and one type of optical detectors. So those optical detectors are classified into different types as light emitting diode and injection laser diode. The light emitting diodes are also split into different types. This splitting and different types of LEDs already we have seen in the last class, which are surface emitting LED, edge emitting LED, as well as homojunction LED and heterojunction LED, HLED and DHLED, heterojunction LED. So those things are based on the constructed materials, which are classified into different types. That particular construction is also different based on the different type of material as a band gap, that is indirect band gap or direct band gap. Here in a LED, we have to use gallium arsenide phosphate material, gallium arsenide and indium gallium arsenide phosphate material. So based on the construction, which are also used as a indirect band gap material. Okay, so based on their construction material, that edge emitting LED and surface emitting LED has to be compared with each other with a different lifetime, different wavelength, different energy band gaps. Okay, so those things are analyzed with different type of parameters whenever the edge emitting LED and the surface emitting LED, which is also considered from the active region itself. Okay, so those advantages or disadvantages we have compared in the last class also. Now that particular injection laser LED, it is also same as the LED, but additionally that edges are polished with a particular material, and this laser will be created as light amplification stimulated emission of ray, which are produces due to the recombine of electrical and hole pair combination. Okay, when particular current level is reached, the number of minority carriers and photons are produced from the both sides of the injection of the light emitting diode. So these are collide with each other, and excited minority carriers are produced the lasing action that will be known as injection laser diode only. Okay, so these are compared with the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, mainly the ILD, injection laser diode, disadvantage is which is more expensive than LED, and it is also temperature dependent. It is also temperature dependent, and these ILDs are operated at high power. They have to produce the short lifetime than the short lifetime than LED. Okay, then you compare with this another LD with different type of optical sources. These two will be preferable, and another one is optical detector. So those optical detectors are classified into two categories: pin diode and avalanche photodiode. Pin and APD. Okay, so pin diode already we have discussed. So before discuss the pin diode of operation, we have seen three parameters as cutoff wavelength, responsivity, and quantum efficiency. Okay, so these factors are heavily considered for the pin diode also. So the difference between the PN junction diode and pin diode is intrinsic active region of layer will be added in the junction of the PN junction in the junction of PN diode, and whenever you give the forward bias or reverse bias, electron and hole pair recombination will change the responsivity of the particular pin diode lifetime. Okay, are you observe the difference between those optical sources and detectors, students? Are you observe that difference between optical sources and optical detectors? Have you got that difference? Yes. Students, have you got the difference between optical sources and optical detectors? Am I audible? వినిపిస్తుందా? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. We will continue in the next class.